Imagine your phone buzzes, a message appears, miss you. Your heart suddenly feels full, then empty again the moment the words vanish. Was that love or just a shot of reassurance? Have you ever craved someone's validation, likes, compliments, a warm gaze, telling yourself it was love? Many of us have. In this video, we'll explore the surprising truth behind that aching feeling. Maybe you grew up believing love meant approval, a child smiling only when hearing "I'm proud of you." Or you've stayed in relationships out of fear, thinking, as long as I'm needed, I'm loved. But what if the love you seek is actually something else? By the end of this video, you'll discover how true love is fundamentally different from the impulse for emotional validation and how to start breaking free. Keep watching, because in just 60 seconds, I'll reveal a simple question that can tell you where your love actually comes from. The confusion between loving and seeking to be loved. We often assume love means being cherished, but Erich Fromm brilliantly reversed this. He reminds us that love is primarily giving, not receiving. In other words, love is an action and a choice, not a prize to be earned. Yet most of us play the opposite game. We treat ourselves like products in a marketplace, asking, am I enough? Am I worthy? When our focus is on being loved, we're really on a quest for validation. We hunger for others to say, you're important, you're special, you matter. Brain science shows why this feels so addictive. Seeing a loved face fires up our brain's primitive reward circuit, flooding it with dopamine. It feels good, like sugar for the soul. But like any addictive fix, it's temporary. One kind text might lift you up, and the next silent phone makes you crash. As writer Carl Jung observed, where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, their love is lacking. When we demand proof of affection, texts, gifts, constant reassurance, we're exerting power over love, treating it as a barter of ego. The moment we say, I deserve this love, we make ourselves its objects, not its stewards. This is the root of the emotional bargain many relationships become. Two people often join not to share wholeness, but to fill each other's voids. Silently bargain, give me the feeling that I am worth it, and I will give you whatever you want in return. But like all bargains built on lack, the bill comes due. The warmth of affection vanishes, leaving an even deeper emptiness. These dynamics may seem obvious in hindsight. As we'll see next, the real source of this confusion often lies early in life, in the tender lesson that our worth depends on others. How we learn to crave validation. Picture a young child sitting quietly at a kitchen table. The parents are nearby, arguing about bills, but not out loud. The child doesn't know why their world feels tense. They begin to learn, if I'm good, maybe this fight will stop. So the child becomes perfect, always aiming for that approving smile or word. This scene, repeated over time, wires a dangerous belief. My worth depends on others' approval. Psychologists note that attachment styles are formed during childhood and carried out through our adult lives. If a child's emotional needs aren't met, they grow up anxious and hypervigilant about love. Think about it. As kids, we have very little control. If our parents are distant or disapproving, the only power we find is in compliance or attention-seeking. We learn to measure our self-esteem in nods, grades, or gold stars. In that model, love is conditional, only given when we deserve it. As a result, many people become consumed by an unbalanced, anxious style of relating. Brains magazine explains how these individuals can lose their identity, assume possessive behaviors, become emotionally unstable, and ultimately abandon themselves in search of the validation they need to hear for themselves. You're okay. When we look outward for this validation, we leave our worth in the hands of others. We essentially become like Pavlov's dog, conditioned to feel good only when the bell of approval rings. When the bell doesn't ring, we panic. On the neuroscience side, those reactions can literally feel addictive. Romantic stimuli trigger our brain's reward circuits. Harvard Medical School reports that viewing a picture of someone you love activates brain regions rich in dopamine, the so-called feel-good chemical. It's no wonder we chase it over and over. In a way, this is similar to being addicted to sugar or coffee for a quick rush. You might feel energized in the moment, but soon enough you need another fix. Similarly, you might find yourself calling an ex when you're lonely, or chasing a new crush after heartbreak just to get that high of feeling complete. Philosopher J. Krishnamurti warned of this cost. If we depend on another for all our pleasure and self-worth, you are a slave to that person. More succinctly, as long as there is fear, there can be no love. When love is entangled with fear of loss or jealousy, it's not truly love. We've seen how early experiences and our biology can set us on the path of validation seeking. But what happens to our relationships when we become adults? Let's examine the patterns that play out in grown-up love and why they can be so hard to break. Patterns in adult relationships. By adulthood, those childhood habits show up everywhere. You might recognize these behaviors in yourself or others. Anxious attachment, you crave constant reassurance. A single late response to a text triggers panic. You think, if they don't love me back right now, I'm not worthy. This person often checks phones, seeks compliments, and fears abandonment. Avoidant attachment, you value independence above all. The moment someone gets too close or emotional, you pull away. Deep down, you may feel unworthy of love, so you build walls instead. Love feels risky, so you stay guarded. Codependent behavior, you play the caretaker or fixer. You derive self-worth from solving others' problems or making people happy. On the surface, it looks generous, but underneath, it's a way to earn love. If the other person doesn't reciprocate, you feel empty. Each of these patterns is a kind of self-worth loop. If you learn love equals validation, each compliment is a hit of confidence, but once it fades, a void opens. You feel the urge to get another hit, maybe from a new partner or a sympathetic friend. Imagine riding a merry-go-round of affection. Every round, a kind word, a hug makes you feel good. But the ride never stops, and when you finally get off alone at home or on a break in the honeymoon phase, you feel dizzy and wanting more. Breaking these patterns is not easy. It means confronting old fears, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. It means unlearning that core belief that my value comes only through someone else's eyes. A powerful question to ask yourself is, what fills me with love when I'm alone? Most of us struggle to answer this. We're not taught to love solitude or to appreciate our own company, but that's exactly the skill that can break the cycle. When you learn to feel whole alone, through self-compassion, interests, or inner peace, you become less desperate for external fixes. Think back to a moment you felt truly content by yourself, maybe listening to music on a quiet night, finishing a creative project, or simply breathing in nature. That calm contentment is what healthy love resembles, knowing you are enough even without validation from others. All of this points to a broader shift, from individual love stories to the larger tapestry of our culture's expectations. We live in an age of likes and followers. Social media constantly reminds us that love and approval should be immediate and visible. Platforms train us to measure our worth in hearts and upvotes. A Psychology Today article notes that social media can feed into excessive reassurance-seeking behaviors. People often use others' opinions to feel good about themselves. In movies and ads, love is sold as a feeling or a possession. We see flawless couples on screens and think our own relationships should match. Elaine de Botton calls out this fantasy romanticism. Believing in a perfect partner who meets all needs sets us up to confuse love with expectation. Real maturity in love asks us to let go of these myths. Consider also the long arc of our emotional growth. When young, we're vulnerable to cultural messages. You deserve someone who makes you feel special often means feel special only if someone says so. As we mature, though, healthy love becomes more about presence and acceptance. We realize that love is not to do with pleasure and desire, as Krishnamurti said. Instead, it's an active living presence without fear. If you've dated or been married, you've seen the ebb and flow. Infatuation can blind us with passion, but lasting love shows up in the quiet moments, sharing a sunset, arguing and forgiving, choosing each other despite flaws. In those moments, we glimpse love that's grown beyond needing a fix. This growth requires ongoing self-inquiry. It means asking, do I seek love to escape emptiness, or do I accept love to enrich my wholeness? We've unraveled the confusion between real love and a hunger for validation. Let's recap the key lessons. Love is giving, not taking. As Erich Fromm taught, love is primarily giving, not receiving. True love isn't needy, it freely nurtures the other. Your worth isn't someone else's responsibility. When we chase others to feel worthy, we become fragile. Psychologists warn that leaving your worth in the hands of others makes you like a leaf in the wind. Strength comes from rooting your value within yourself. Love thrives in freedom. Philosophers remind us that fear and jealousy destroy love. Krishnamurti put it simply, as long as fear is present, love cannot fully be. In short, love begins where emotional need ends. When you love someone without demanding they complete you, you truly give yourself. Now I'll leave you with this final question to ponder. Do you want to be loved, or do you want to love freely? Which one feeds your soul? If this video gave you something to think about, give it a like and subscribe for more. Share your experience or insight below. Your story could help someone else. Thanks for watching, and remember, real love starts when you stop using others to feel complete.